Get ready for some serious cosmic energy today because we're going to be diving into Lorenzo's take on the March 14th full moon and lunar eclipse.
And of course, we have to go deep when it comes to Lorenzo.
You know it. Specifically how this full moon's going to be shaking things up for all you Aries out there.
Well, what's so interesting about Lorenzo is that he's so direct.
Right. He's known for that no-nonsense approach.
Totally. And his predictions are incredibly accurate.
I know. And this reading is no exception. Let's just say he's calling this full moon a brutally honest wake-up call for Aries.
It's true. And what's even more fascinating is that he doesn't just point out the challenges.
Right.
He gives very concrete tools to navigate them. It's about empowerment, not fear-mongering.
I like that.
Yeah.
So Lorenzo kicks things off by saying, if you've been half committing to your routine, your emotional security, your spiritual evolution, this surge of energy is here to slam the door on any denial. No more maybe, no more I'll handle it later. You're either stepping up or staying stuck, period. I mean, wow, talk about a cosmic reality check.
It definitely feels like a time for some serious introspection, wouldn't you say?
For sure. Lorenzo is emphasizing that the universe is no longer letting us slide by with half-hearted efforts.
I agree. And then he gets even more specific, talking about this full moon in Virgo as a cosmic audit.
Oh yeah, he says, it's beaming straight into the habits, health routines, and practical responsibilities you've been avoiding. You know the ones, those I'll fix it someday issues? The universe is done waiting. Clean up your act or get used to chaos crashing through your well-laid plans.
Yeah, that really speaks to the Virgo energy, which is all about order, practicality, and attention to detail. It's like the universe is saying, let's take a look under the hood and see what needs to be fine-tuned.
It is, and if you don't, well, Lorenzo puts it pretty bluntly, get real or get wrecked. No mincing words there.
Oh, absolutely not. Now, what I find really intriguing is how he connects this cosmic audit to our emotional well-being. He talks about this full moon fueling us with the courage to address those painful past patterns we've been burying.
Yes. He says this synergy fuels you with enough gusto to address painful past patterns you've buried under toughness or distractions. Use it. Channel the courage to speak out, set boundaries, and actually do something about your emotional well-being. Ignore it, and you drown in your own frustration.
It's almost like we're being given this surge of energy to finally confront those things. We've been avoiding those emotional wounds that are keeping us from experiencing true fulfillment.
Exactly, and if we don't take advantage of this energy...
Well, Lorenzo's warning is pretty clear. Prepare for meltdown territory. He's not suggesting that things will just magically get better on their own. We have to actively participate in our own healing.
Okay, so now for another dose of Lorenzo's tough love. He calls this next part the no-escape confrontation and says a massive barrier is calling you out on every lie you've told yourself about your deeper purpose. You can't outrun it anymore. Any illusions you cling to will chain you down. Intense, right?
Incredibly intense. This is where the opposition to Saturn in Pisces comes into play. Saturn is the planet of karma and responsibility, that cosmic taskmaster demanding that we face the truth, especially about our spiritual path.
Right. And Pisces being ruled by Neptune can sometimes cloud our judgment with illusions and escapism. So this opposition is like a major reality check, forcing us to confront any spiritual blind spots we've been avoiding.
Exactly. Lorenzo puts it this way. This jolt from the cosmic teacher says, face your spiritual blind spots or stay locked in the same karmic loop, repeating the same misguided steps. Stall and you'll remain stuck. Own it and you reclaim your power.
Wow. So it's like we're being given this choice. Either we step up and do the work or we stay stuck in the same old patterns.
Precisely. And that choice has real consequences.
Right.
What do you think, listener? Have you been avoiding any spiritual truth? What patterns keep repeating in your life even though you know they're not serving you?
That's a good question. This full moon is offering us a powerful opportunity to break free from those cycles, but it's up to us to seize it.
I agree. You know, Lorenzo has this incredible way of weaving in these really powerful metaphors that help us grasp these complex astrological concepts.
Right.
It's like he's giving us a key to unlock a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
He does, doesn't he? And he doesn't just leave us hanging with these intense pronouncements. He also offers glimmers of hope and possibility. Like when he talks about this surge of radical inspiration that can help us revolutionize our values.
Oh, I love that part. It's like a breath of fresh air amidst all the intensity.
It is. He says, expect a surge of radical inspiration that cuts through outdated views of what you deserve, how you manage resources, and the worth you place on yourself.
Yeah.
If you've been whining about being undervalued while clinging to an old story about this is how it's always been, guess what? That story is done.
It's like a cosmic invitation to rewrite our narratives, especially around self-worth and abundance.
For sure. And he's basically saying no more excuses. He says, embrace this energy or keep moaning about the same drama. It's your choice.
It is our choice, isn't it? We have the power to create a life that truly reflects our worth, but it requires us to let go of those limiting beliefs that are holding us back.
Absolutely. And Lorenzo doesn't shy away from challenging those beliefs, especially when it comes to our spiritual practices. He asks, here's another cosmic gut check. Are you gaslighting yourself about your path?
Oh, it's a tough question, but such an important one.
I know, right?
It's so easy to get caught up in spiritual bypass, to talk the talk without walking the walk.
Exactly. And Lorenzo doesn't let us off the hook. He says, if you've fallen for your own fantasies, telling yourself you're oh so spiritual, but doing zilch to put it into practice, prepare for a flood of truth.
This is where the opposition to Neptune in Pisces comes into play again. Neptune can create this hazy, dreamy energy that's ripe for self-deception.
This full moon is demanding authenticity.
Exactly. It's like Lorenzo is saying, either you let this confrontation strip away the delusions, or you let them swallow you whole. No halfway, face it or lose it.
Wow, that's a powerful image. We can either choose to awaken to our true potential, or we can drown in our own illusions. It's a pretty stark choice.
It is, and it's one that we all have to make. Now, what really gets me is how Lorenzo ties this all back to our karmic patterns, those ingrained habits and behaviors that we just can't seem to shake.
I know, he says, finally you're getting slammed with the reality of old karmic patterns. This is about repeating the same missteps in your day-to-day life, especially in how you serve others and yourself. The cycle's obvious now. You see it, feel it, probably hate it.
And this is where the nodes of the moon come into play. The North node in Pisces represents our soul's purpose, while the South node in Virgo represents those past patterns we need to release.
Oh, I see. So we're being confronted with these old habits and behaviors that are no longer serving us, but we also have this pull towards our higher purpose. It's like we're being stretched in two different directions.
Exactly. And Lorenzo asks a powerful question. The question is, will you break it or just whine about, why does this keep happening? There's no middle ground.
He is not messing around.
Yeah.
That really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it?
Right.
It's not enough to just recognize these patterns. We have to actively choose to break free from them. And this full moon is giving us the energy and the awareness to do just that. But before we dive into how this all plays out astrologically, let's take a moment to reflect. Does any of this resonate with you, listener? Have you been neglecting your emotional well-being? Or clinging to routines that no longer serve you? We'll be back in a moment to explore Lorenzo's astrological breakdown of this potent full moon.
Welcome back. We're still unpacking Lorenzo's report on this full moon.
I know, it's super detailed.
It is. And what makes this deep dive so fascinating is that Lorenzo goes beyond, these broad pronouncements. He
Wow.
gives us a very precise roadmap of the cosmic energies at play.
I like that. Let's get into those specifics. Lorenzo starts by talking about the main event, which is, of course, the full moon and lunar eclipse in Virgo. And he doesn't just give us, the astrological details.
Right.
She weaves in the symbolism of the tarot, adding another layer of depth to his analysis.
Which is one of the things I love about his work.
Yeah.
It's not just astrology, it's not just tarot, it's this rich tapestry of symbolism that helps us connect with these energies on a much deeper level.
I agree. Okay, so Lorenzo says March 14, 10 of Cups, full moon and lunar eclipse, High Priestess, in Virgo, 10 of Pentacles, in the 6th house, the Hierophant. Wow, that's a lot. What's interesting to you about those tarot cards?
Well, we have the Ten of Cups, which speaks to our longing for true emotional fulfillment, that deep sense of belonging and completion. But it's not about, a fairy tale ending. It's about finding that stability and authenticity in our relationships and in our lives.
Okay, and then there's the High Priestess, which Lorenzo links to the full moon and lunar eclipse.
All right.
That card is all about intuition, inner wisdom, and facing those hidden truths that we often try to avoid.
Right. It's like this cosmic invitation to delve into our subconscious and uncover those shadow aspects of ourselves that we've been keeping hidden, even from ourselves.
And then we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is associated with Virgo. That card represents material security, abundance, and creating a solid foundation for ourselves and our families.
It's about building something that lasts, something that can withstand the storms of life. And it's about taking practical steps to achieve that security, whether it's through our finances, our careers, or our health routines.
Makes sense. And finally, we have the Hierophant, which Lorenzo links to the 6th house. That card is often associated with tradition, structure, and established systems.
Right. It can also represent mentorship, spiritual guidance,
Oh,
and the search for meaning and purpose.
okay. So how do you see all these cards playing out together in the context of this full moon?
Well, to me, it's like we're being called to create a life that is both spiritually and materially fulfilling. A life that is grounded in practicality, but also aligned with our soul's purpose. And it's going to require us to confront our shadows, release those outdated beliefs that are holding us back, and step into our power.
I agree. And Lorenzo seems to be echoing that sentiment when he says, you can't fake it till you make it anymore.
Yeah.
If you want inner peace, it's time for daily measured effort, no shortcuts.
Yeah, I think that's such a powerful message for all of us, regardless of our astrological sign. There's no magic bullet when it comes to personal growth. It's about showing up consistently and doing the work day after day.
Totally. And speaking of showing up, Lorenzo then dives into the energy of emotional grit and self-defense that's available to us during this full moon.
Okay.
He links this to the sextile, to Mars,
Hmm.
the tower, in Cancer, the chariot, the fourth house, the moon. This is where we start to see how those planetary aspects can really shake things up on an emotional level.
Yes, and Mars is the planet of action, energy, and assertion. So having it in Cancer, the sign of emotions, home, and family, really amplifies those feelings of needing to protect and nurture ourselves and our loved ones.
And the fourth house is all about our roots,
Hmm.
our foundations, our sense of belonging. So it's like we're being called to create a safe and secure space for ourselves, both physically and emotionally.
Yeah, I see that. What do you make of the tarot cards he connects to this aspect? The Tower, the Chariot, and the Moon.
Well, the tower is often seen as a card of upheaval and sudden change. It can be disruptive, even destructive, but it's also a catalyst for breakthrough and liberation.
And it's interesting that he links it to Mars, which can also be a very forceful and assertive energy.
Right, so it's like this cosmic wake-up call forcing us to confront those unstable structures in our lives that are no longer serving us.
I agree. Then we have the Chariot, which is all about willpower, determination, and taking control of our lives. And having it in Cancer suggests that we need to master our emotions to harness that energy and use it to move forward in a positive direction.
It's not just about charging ahead blindly. It's
Yeah.
about being strategic, about choosing our battles wisely.
For sure. And then there's the Moon, which is all about our subconscious, our emotions, and our deepest fears. And having it in the fourth house suggests that those fears might be related to our home, our family, or our sense of security.
Okay, so it's like we're being asked to look into the shadows to confront those hidden anxieties that are undermining our sense of well-being.
Exactly. And Lorenzo's message is pretty clear here. He says, this is your chance to fight for your emotional well-being before it morphs into full-blown chaos. If you choose to ignore it, prepare for meltdown territory. He's not messing around.
No, he is not. Okay, so we've talked about this full moon as a cosmic audit, and we've explored the energy of emotional self-defense. Now Lorenzo dives into what he calls the karmic accountability check.
Ooh, this is where things get really interesting.
He links this to the opposition to Saturn, the world, in Pisces, the moon, in the 12th house, the hanged man.
You know, Saturn is really making its presence known in this reading, and the 12th house is the house of the subconscious spirituality and hidden enemies. So having Saturn there is like a cosmic spotlight shining on all those things we've been trying to sweep under the rug.
For sure. So it's like we're being forced to confront our shadow selves, those parts of ourselves that we'd rather not acknowledge.
Yeah, and the opposition to Saturn in Pisces is a major karmic test, forcing us to confront any spiritual bypass or escapism we've been indulging in. Saturn wants us to get real, to stop living in a fantasy world, and face the cold, hard truth.
I see. And the moon in Pisces can create this hazy, dreamy energy that can make it hard to discern what's real and what's not. So this opposition is like a reality check, demanding that we ground ourselves in truth.
Totally. And the tarot cards Lorenzo links to this aspect are incredibly powerful.
They are. Okay, so let's unpack those. We have the world, which Lorenzo connects to Saturn. The card is about completion, fulfillment, and the culmination of a journey. But it also speaks to the cyclical nature of life, the idea that we're constantly evolving and learning from our experiences.
It's like reaching the end of a chapter, but knowing that there are many more chapters to come.
Right. Then we have the moon, which again speaks to our subconscious, our emotions, and our intuition. But in Pisces, it can also represent deception, illusion, and escapism.
Oh, yeah. So it's like we're being called to be discerning, to trust our intuition, but also to be aware of those subtle ways we might be deceiving ourselves.
Interesting. And then we have the hanged man, which Lorenzo links to both Neptune and the 12th house. That card is about surrender, letting go, and seeing things from a different perspective.
It's about releasing control and trusting that the universe has a plan even if we can't see it yet.
Okay, so how do you see all these cards playing out together in this aspect?
Well, it's like we're being asked to surrender our illusions, those stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of. And it's about facing our karmic debts, those patterns and behaviors that have been holding us back from reaching our full potential.
And Lorenzo is very direct about the consequences of not doing that work. He says, you can't outrun this lesson. Confront it or get locked into another cycle of the same mistakes.
Wow. It's a stark warning, but it's also empowering. We have the choice to break free from these cycles. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible.
Okay, I love that. Now, amidst all this intensity, Lorenzo offers a glimmer of hope with what he calls revolutionizing your values. He links this to the trine to Uranus, the Fool, and Taurus, the Hierophant. In the second house, the Devil. What stands out to you about this aspect?
Well, Uranus is the planet of revolution, innovation, and unexpected change. So having it in Taurus, the sign of values, possessions, and self-worth, can really shake things up in those areas of our lives.
Right. And the second house is all about our resources, our finances, and our sense of security. So it's like we're being called to reevaluate our relationship with money to break free from any limiting beliefs that are holding us back from experiencing abundance.
It's about aligning our values with our financial decisions and creating a life that feels truly abundant on all levels.
I see that. And then we have this interesting mix of tarot cards, the Fool, the Hierophant, and the Devil.
Yes. The Fool represents new beginnings, taking risks, and stepping into the unknown. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and trusting that the universe will catch us if we fall.
And the Hierophant in this context might be about challenging those traditional structures and beliefs that are no longer serving us. It's about finding our own spiritual path rather than blindly following someone else's rules.
Right. And the devil is often associated with temptation, addiction, and those things that we're clinging to even when they're no longer serving us.
So it's like we're being asked to confront those attachments that are keeping us trapped in unhealthy patterns, whether it's a dead-end job, a toxic relationship, or even a negative mindset.
Exactly. It's about breaking free from those chains and stepping into our power.
And Lorenzo encourages us to do just that. He says, if you keep whining about how you're never paid what you're worth, guess what? This energy says blow up your old financial habits and do something radical to change it. Stop clinging to comfort.
It's a call to action. It's time to stop playing small and start creating the life we truly desire.
Okay, so we've talked about revolutionizing our values. Now, Lorenzo dives into a section he calls illusion or enlightenment and links it to the opposition to Neptune, the hanged man, in Pisces, the moon, in 12th house, the hanged man.
Okay. And this is the second opposition to Neptune in Pisces that we're seeing in this reading, emphasizing the importance of spiritual discernment and the dangers of self-deception. Neptune can be a tricky planet as it governs both our dreams and our delusions.
And remember, the 12th house is all about those hidden realms, the subconscious spirituality, and those things that are often veiled in mystery.
Right. It's like we're being asked to explore the depths of our being to confront those shadows and illusions that are keeping us from experiencing true enlightenment.
And the hanged man appears twice in Lorenzo's tarot breakdown for this aspect. He's really emphasizing that message of surrender and letting go, isn't he?
He is. It's like he's saying you can either cling to your illusions and drown, or you can surrender to a higher power and experience true liberation.
And his bottom line is clear and concise. You either choose spiritual clarity, however harsh it might be, or keep lying to yourself. You can't have both.
Wow. It's a choice we all have to make.
Okay, now for the final piece of this astrological puzzle, Lorenzo dives into what he calls the clash of the destiny paths, which focuses on the nodes of the moon.
Okay.
And he doesn't just talk about the north node, which represents our soul's purpose. He also delves into the south node, which represents those past patterns we need to release.
And with both nodes being activated in this full moon, it creates a powerful tension between our past and our future. It's like we're being pulled in two different directions.
Exactly. So Lorenzo says opposition to north node, the star, in Pisces, the moon, in 12th house, the hangman, and conjunction to south node, the devil, in Virgo, the hermit, in the 6th house, the hierophant. Those are some potent combinations.
They are. And it's interesting that he links the North Node in Pisces to the star, which is a card of hope, inspiration, and following our dreams.
So it's like we're being guided towards our destiny, but it requires us to trust our intuition and take a leap of faith.
Right. And the moon and the hanged man appearing again here really emphasize that message of surrender and letting go. It's about trusting the process even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain.
And then there's the south node in Virgo, which Lorenzo links to the devil.
Oh, wow. That's such a powerful image. The devil often represents those things that we're addicted to, those behaviors and patterns that are keeping us trapped. And having it in Virgo, the sign of perfectionism and overthinking, suggests that we might be clinging to routines or habits that are no longer serving us, even if they seem perfect on the surface.
And Lorenzo's message is pretty blunt. If you're stuck in your own narcissistic bubble, you'll miss the boat entirely. He's calling us out on our ego's need to control everything and encouraging us to surrender to a higher power.
Absolutely. And he links the South Node in Virgo to the Hermit, which can be a card of introspection and solitude, but it can also represent isolation and getting lost in our own heads.
So it's like we're being asked to find a balance between introspection and action, between solitude and connection.
It is, exactly. And the Hierophant appearing again here might be about questioning those rigid structures and beliefs that are keeping us trapped in the past.
It's about finding our own unique path rather than blindly following the rules.
Right, Lorenzo's harsh truth about the South Node in Virgo is a real wake-up call. You know these patterns all too well. They're comfortable but suffocating. If you refuse to let them go, you can't evolve.
It's a reminder that true growth requires us to step outside our comfort zones and embrace the unknown.
And that can be a scary prospect, especially for those of us who are used to clinging to control.
Totally. And Lorenzo really drives home the importance of breaking free from those patterns when he says, the clock is ticking. Will you break destructive habits, illusions, and comfort zones, or will you make excuses and complain you're blocked? This lineup doesn't allow for fence-sitting. You evolve or repeat the same karmic loop.
He's definitely not sugarcoating anything, but I appreciate his directness. It's like a cosmic slap in the face, waking us up to the reality of our situation.
I know. And he follows that up with an even stronger statement. Yes, this energy can catapult you into genuine change if you stop bullshitting yourself. Otherwise, prepare to watch your old dysfunctions blow up more dramatically than ever. It's like he's saying the universe is giving you a choice. Choose wisely.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes Lorenzo's work so compelling. He doesn't shy away from the truth even when it's uncomfortable. But he also offers us hope, reminding us that we have the power to create the life we desire.
Okay, now for a different perspective on these themes, Lorenzo tells a story. He calls it a chronicle of the hidden audit. And it's almost like a parable illustrating the themes of this full moon in a more symbolic way.
Oh, I love when he does that. Stories have this incredible way of bypassing our rational minds and speaking directly to our hearts.
So true. He starts by setting the scene. The setup. A dedicated worker, known simply as the artisan, toils day in and day out in the dusty courtyard of a grand fortress. This fortress is renowned for its strict rules, daily rituals, and obsession with perfection. Lately, cracks have been forming in the walls, subtle yet telling the artisan notices, but keeps pushing those doubts aside. Maybe it's all in his head. Perhaps the fortress is just fine.
Right. Okay, so I see this artisan as representing that part of us that's clinging to familiar routines and structures even when they're no longer serving us. And the fortress symbolizes those rigid beliefs and outdated systems that we might be holding on to.
Interesting. And then comes this dramatic turning point, the full revelation. Then comes the night of an ominous festival. The moon overhead grows massively bright, casting an eerie glow that reveals every single fissure in the fortress walls. The artisan's eyes widen. The damage is way worse than he'd admitted. In that searing light, there's no lying to himself anymore. It's a cosmic inventory of everything he's been ignoring. Shoddy patchwork, neglected routines, illusions of it's all fine. So the full moon acts as a catalyst for truth and revelation. It illuminates those cracks in our foundation and forces us to face reality.
And what's so interesting is that Lorenzo then introduces these different characters who represent the various cosmic influences at play. It's like he's giving us a visual representation of these abstract astrological concepts.
I love that. Okay, so who's the first character we meet?
It's the Southern Ally. From the fortress gates, a fierce soldier storms in eyes blazing. This warrior's presence is like a lightning bolt igniting the courage the artisan didn't know he had. You claim to care about your emotional well-being. The soldier sneers. Then stand up and fight for it. Stop hiding your cracks behind excuses. The artisan feels both offended and weirdly energized. The soldier marches away, leaving behind the promise of backup should the artisan choose to defend what matters most.
Okay, this sounds a lot like the energy of Mars in Cancer, pushing the artisan to take action and assert his emotional needs. It's a reminder that we have the strength to stand up for ourselves, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Makes sense. Now, for a completely different energy, Lorenzo introduces the stern gatekeeper. Before the artisan can catch his breath, an ancient gatekeeper appears. This figure radiates an aura of unyielding authority. Time's up, the gatekeeper says, voice echoing through the night. You can't mask your spiritual sloppiness with hollow prayers anymore. A heavy staff comes down, blocking the way forward. You must prove you've learned from your past mistakes, or remain locked in this courtyard forever, patching the same cracks on repeat. The artisan trembles. No wiggle room here.
Whoa, that's definitely Saturn. That sense of karmic accountability, the demand for integrity and responsibility. The gatekeeper represents that part of us that knows we can't keep avoiding the truth.
Right? Then things get a bit more playful. We meet a shock to the system. Suddenly, a flamboyant trickster drops into the courtyard with a jester's grin, offering the artisan a strange key. "Take this if you dare," the trickster teases. "Use it to unlock new ways of valuing your time, energy, and worth. But it'll cost you the comfort of old routines." The artisan hesitates. He's used to the fortress comfy and its constraints. But there's no denying the allure of genuine freedom. If you stay, the trickster smirks, "Don't cry about your endless regrets."
Oh, this feels very much like the energy of Uranus and Taurus shaking things up and offering the artisan the opportunity for radical change and liberation. It might feel risky to let go of what's familiar, but the potential rewards are huge.
I see that. Then we encounter a more enigmatic figure. The foggy challenge. From the shadows, a mystic figure glides in, draped in shifting veils. Careful? The mystic warns, "Your mind is full of illusions. You think you're so awakened. I see you clinging to fantasies instead of doing the real inner work." There's a swirl of haze as the mystic vanishes. The artisan feels a pull like half his spirit longs to dream everything better, while the other half demands brutal self-honesty.
This is Neptune and Pisces, highlighting the dangers of self-deception and the need for spiritual clarity. It's so easy to get lost in our fantasies, but true growth requires honesty and a willingness to face the shadows.
Okay, now for the ultimate test. Clash of the destiny paths. One route lures him toward a shimmering star on the horizon, calling to the highest version of himself, one that yearns for genuine spiritual purpose. The other leads deeper into the fortress's bowels, where he could keep perfecting meaningless tasks in the safety of familiar routines. Chains rattle in the distance, reminding him that old patterns can be as binding as physical shackles. At the heart of this crossroads stands a towering teacher in ceremonial robes, whispering, "If you can't break free from your obsession with the small stuff, your compulsive need to control every outcome, don't bother complaining about your lack of true freedom."
So the artisan is facing a choice between the familiar comfort of the South Node in Virgo and the evolutionary potential of the North Node in Pisces. It's a reminder that our past patterns can hold us back, but we have the power to choose a new path.
And then Lorenzo sets up the final act. The final decision. The artisan stares at the fortress. It used to feel secure, but now he sees it for what it is. A place built on half-truths, stifling traditions and illusions of perfection. The star beyond the walls glitters with a more profound promise, but crossing that threshold requires letting go of his old identity, the one fixated on daily checklists and external approval. He takes one last look at the cracks illuminated by the massive moonlight. He'd almost hear them whisper, "You either face what's broken or let these walls crumble on top of you." Fear pulses through his veins, but he remembers the soldier's challenge. Fight for your emotional well-being or watch everything implode. He remembers the gatekeeper's ultimatum. Prove you've learned or get trapped in an endless loop. He recalls the trickster's offer. Seize your worth or stay comfortably miserable. And he can't forget the mystic's accusation. Your illusions will devour you if you don't tear them down.
Oh, it's the moment of truth.
Right. And then comes the climax. With a shaky breath, he steps forward, key in hand. In that moment, the fortress behind him begins to quake. He doesn't turn around. Instead, he charges toward the star on the horizon, determined to embrace the unknown rather than remain a prisoner of his familiar comfort. Wow, what a powerful ending.
I know, right? It gives me chills. It's a reminder that we have the ability to create our own destiny, even if it means facing our fears and stepping into the unknown. And it's interesting how Lorenzo links the key to the trickster who represents Uranus and Taurus. It's like that shake-up, that radical change is what unlocks the door to true freedom.
So true. So what do you think, listener? Do you resonate with the artisan? Are you ready to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the unknown?
And speaking of embracing the unknown, Lorenzo goes on to drop what he calls the hidden bombshell that no one else is telling you.
Oh, I remember this part. This is where Lorenzo really challenges us to think differently about the connection between our physical health and our spiritual and emotional well-being.
Yeah, he's basically saying that those unresolved issues we've been sweeping under the rug, those illusions and outdated coping mechanisms, are already manifesting as physical and emotional warnings in our bodies.
It's true. He says, your unresolved illusions and old karmic patterns are already manifesting as physical and emotional warnings in your body right now. Yeah. Not some future possibility. It's happening now.
Exactly, and he gets really specific about what that means. Think about that nagging fatigue. You can't seem to shake those recurring headaches that pop up at the worst times, those mood swings that you just can't explain.
Yeah, Lorenzo is suggesting that these might be karmic check engine lights, signals that something is out of alignment on a deeper level.
Right. He's asking us to pay attention to those subtle signs, to listen to what our bodies are trying to tell us.
And he makes a compelling argument for why this is so important. He says no one escapes. You can fake a smile or push through deadlines, but you can't fool your own nervous system. Ignore the signals and the breakdown becomes bigger, like a fortress wall buckling under pressure.
It's like those cracks in the fortress walls. If we ignore them, they'll just keep getting bigger and bigger until the whole structure collapses.
Right. And he adds, time is up. Karmic debts tied to self-delusion and sloppy routines don't wait around. This pivotal moment says, clean it up or watch your body break down first, then your life.
It's a stark warning, but it's also a call to action.
And he ends this section with a really powerful statement. Healing is the only door out. You can't band-aid your body without dealing with the soul-level illusions that caused it to wave the white flag. Real healing demands radical self-honesty, daily discipline, and a willingness to shatter the illusions you cling to. So what are your thoughts on this, listener? Have you been ignoring those subtle signals from your body? Have you been trying to band-aid your symptoms without addressing the underlying causes?
It's a good question. Lorenzo is challenging us to think differently about healing, to see it as a holistic process that involves our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being.
Right. Now, Lorenzo would be Lorenzo if he didn't offer some practical guidance to help us navigate this intense energy.
Oh, totally. It's not enough to just understand the astrological concepts. He wants us to actually apply them to our lives.
Exactly. So he offers what he calls practical anchor, from cosmic wake-up call to real-world action. It's a no-excuses toolkit to help us ground these intense energies into practical everyday change. And the first tool he offers is journaling that actually works.
Oh, I love that. Journaling can be such a powerful tool for self-discovery and transformation.
Okay, so he gives us 3 specific prompts to focus on. The first one is tally your cracks. Write down every aspect of your daily life that's crumbling, where you feel the most stress, neglect, or avoidance. Be brutally honest if you're skipping sleep, half-assing chores, or letting toxic relationships linger, name it. It's about getting real with ourselves, about acknowledging those areas where we're not showing up fully.
Yeah, and the second prompt is pinpoint the illusion. For each crack, ask, what lie am I telling myself here? Maybe it's, I don't have time, or I'll deal with it later. Rip these lies to shreds.
Yeah.
It's about uncovering those limiting beliefs that are keeping us stuck.
And the third prompt is action over affirmation. Next to each lie, commit to one clear step you'll take this week to fix it. No vague, fluff-reel, measurable actions. VGA, schedule a dentist appointment. Break off that draining friendship or plan a weekly meal prep session. It's about moving beyond those positive affirmations and taking concrete steps to create the life we desire.
I love that he emphasizes action over affirmation. It's so easy to get caught up in the mental game to convince ourselves that we're making progress when we're not actually doing anything differently.
Okay, so we've talked about journaling. Now, Lorenzo offers a quick daily ritual. He's a big believer in the power of ritual to create structure and intention in our lives.
Yeah, it's like creating a sacred space for ourselves, a time to connect with our higher power and set our intentions for the day.
Okay, so Lorenzo suggests a simple 3-step process. First, 5-minute altar check-in. Create a small, uncluttered space, a shelf or a corner on a table, where you place an object symbolizing daily diligence, like a simple candle or a neatly folded cloth. It's about creating a physical representation of our commitment to showing up consistently.
Then he says, light and breathe. Each morning, light your candle, take 3 deep breaths, and speak one real intention for the day. Example, today I prioritize my physical well-being by actually cooking my meals. It's about grounding our intentions in action, in actually doing something differently.
Love that. And finally, he says, extinguish with honesty. At night, blow out the candle only after asking yourself, did I do what I promised? If you didn't call yourself out, write the reason in a quick note, no sugarcoating. This builds self-awareness and accountability.
And then he says to ask ourselves why. Why is our neck stiff? Why is our stomach churning? If it's connected to a worry, a fear, or a relationship conflict, we need to name it.
And then he suggests visualizing that tension dissolving as we exhale. It's about releasing that energy and creating space for healing.
It's a great technique. And he acknowledges that this might seem a bit woo-woo to some people, but he encourages us to try it anyway. The point is to become aware of those subtle ways our bodies are holding on to stress and to find ways to release it.
Okay, now for a twist on the traditional affirmation, Lorenzo calls it the no BS affirmation technique.
Mm.
He's not a fan of those fluffy feel-good affirmations that don't actually inspire any real change.
Yeah, it's about aligning our words with our actions.
Right. So he suggests coming up with a reality-centered statement that reflects our commitment to dismantling those lies we've been telling ourselves. He gives an example. I commit to dismantling my lies daily. My worth grows as my illusions shrink.
It's powerful, isn't it? It's about acknowledging our shadows and choosing to step into our power.
And he suggests saying it out loud, looking ourselves in the eye in the mirror. And if we feel any resistance, that's a sign that we're hitting a nerve, something that needs to be addressed.
It's about being honest with ourselves and facing those uncomfortable truths.
And then he says to immediately follow up that affirmation with an action, something tangible that supports that statement. It could be something small, like clearing clutter from our desk, or something big, like ending a toxic relationship.
I love that. It's about taking action, even if it's just one small step.
Okay, and finally, Lorenzo suggests a weekly practice for staying on track. Weekly course correction, reflection. He suggests setting aside 10 minutes every Sunday night to reflect on the week, to look over our journal entries, our ritual notes, and our body scan insights.
It's like checking in with ourselves, seeing what's working and what's not.
Right. And he suggests asking ourselves what pattern emerged. If the same problem keeps popping up, that's our priority for the coming week.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's about identifying those recurring patterns and finding ways to break free from them.
And then he suggests setting a micro goal to address that pattern, something small and achievable that will help us move forward.
It's about breaking down those big, overwhelming goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
And Lorenzo leaves us with a final word of encouragement. Final word. Put your money where your mouth is. These steps are simple, direct, and impossible to rationalize away if you're serious about change. Skip them, and you'll keep regurgitating the same excuses. Use them, and you'll shift from cosmic talk to real-world transformation. No one ever said real work is glamorous or easy, but if you're done cycling through illusions, this is how you anchor the upheaval in your favor. Day by day, action by action, no BS allowed.
Wow, I think that's the perfect note to end on. This full moon is a powerful opportunity for growth, but it requires us to take action. Lorenzo has given us the tools. Now it's up to us to use them.
So what are your thoughts on Lorenzo's practical advice, listener? What tools resonate most strongly with you? And how can you apply them to your own life? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And stay tuned for part 3 of our deep dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Lorenzo's karmic astrology for Aries during this intense full moon. We've covered a lot of ground, from the cosmic audit to the clash of destiny paths, and even Lorenzo's bombshell about those physical and emotional warnings our bodies are sending us.
Oh, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it? What I find so fascinating about Lorenzo is that he doesn't just offer these insights into the cosmic energies at play,
Right.
He also gives us very practical tools to work with them, to integrate them into our daily lives.
He does. And in the last segment, we explored some of those tools: the journaling prompts, the daily ritual, the emotional body scan technique.
Yep.
It's all about taking those abstract concepts and grounding them in action.
Totally. It's about moving beyond the aha moments and actually making changes in our lives, aligning ourselves with these powerful cosmic energies.
So true. Okay, so now for the final piece of Lorenzo's report. He wraps things up with a final word: put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, enough talk, it's time to walk the walk.
Right. He reminds us that these steps are simple, direct, and impossible to rationalize away if you're serious about change. Skip them, and you'll keep regurgitating the same excuses. Use them, and you'll shift from cosmic talk to real-world transformation. No one ever said real work is glamorous or easy, but if you're done cycling through illusions, this is how you anchor the upheaval in your favor. Day by day, action by action, no BS allowed.
I think that's a really powerful statement. It's a reminder that transformation isn't a passive process. It's about making choices, taking action, and showing up consistently, even when it's hard.
And Lorenzo has given us a roadmap, a set of tools to help us navigate these intense energies. Now it's up to us to choose which path we want to take.
Absolutely. We can either stay stuck in those old patterns, clinging to our illusions, or we can choose to evolve to step into a more authentic and empowered version of ourselves. So what will you choose, listener? What resonates most strongly with you from Lorenzo's report? What action will you take today, this week, this month, to create the life you truly desire?
It's a good question. This full moon is a powerful opportunity for transformation, a time to shed those old skins and embrace the unknown.
Absolutely. It's a time to revolutionize our values, confront our shadows, and break free from those karmic cycles that have been holding us back.
And it's a time to remember that our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are all interconnected. We can't heal one without addressing the others.
Okay, so listener, take a deep breath, connect with your intuition, and trust that you have everything you need to navigate this cosmic shift.
And remember Lorenzo's words, your body is the battlefield. Choose to clear out the illusions, release those outdated coping mechanisms, and create a life that truly supports you inside and out.
It's time to shine. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this deep dive. What insights did you have? What resonated most strongly with you? Share your comments below and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more cosmic explorations.
And until next time, keep shining bright.